Squad up, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of The Squad.
Squad.
We are back with another episode. I'm feeling the week is over. That's all. The week
Man,
is
look.
over, and I thank God. I thank God for carrying us through it. Like when I tell you today was um so I'm realizing like my body is just like, listen, fam, we ain't getting up before 7 o'clock. And I realized like that was probably the problem when I was
I ain't mad
working
at
at a
that.
job where I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and trying to make time for God and myself, and then have to get ready for work and stuff, and then go be with people, like people who I'm not necessarily super connected to first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was a lot, and I'm realizing like whew, that is a challenge. Cause Wednesday was like that when I realize now that's where that came from, Wednesday. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and cause I saw it today, and it's because I had to be at work at 8 o'clock this morning. Wednesday was because my mama woke me up because she was leaving, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to get up before 7 o'clock. And today I had got up. I still set my alarm for 7, but it's just still not enough time because I gotta rush and get ready because I gotta be at work at. I can't spend as much time with God as I would like. I can't spend my time just relaxing and having time to myself as I. It was a lot. It was a lot. And
So
then
what time you got to go in?
so mostly during Monday through Thursday, I don't have to be there until like 10:30. Um, but they open at 9 on Fridays, and so I have to be there at 8:30 on Fridays. And
So
I don't
Friday.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like uh I can do a 9 to 5, because even with a 9 to 5, I can still wake up at 7 and have enough time to spend with God and get myself together and all that. But I can't before before 9 o'clock. It ain't happening. Um, I don't want to hear about how you ain't got no towels and all that stuff. I digress. God don't want me to complain. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna get caught up in that. It's a challenge right now. That's all I got to say. This is a challenge, and God is really testing me, and I'm just praying He give me the strength so I can pass.
So get up at 6.
No.
I'm telling you. And what you do is you may have to hit the snooze problem.
And I can't
Be,
keep doing that. That was part of the problem. I don't, and that's also dangerous for your body. Actually, you can't keep popping up out your sleep like that. That's
no,
very
no, 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 no. It's not for popping up out your sleep. It's for keeping you awake. We always use snooze the reverse. Like we snooze in order to stay asleep. No, snooze to stay up, to keep you up. So one thing I had to do is because I had to start waking up early, and I'd use snooze just to, instead of like let me catch this next like 7 minutes before I go back off. No, let me use it to be like, all right. And if I drift in 7 minutes, it's going to alert me to stay up. So let's say, for instance, if you want to take time at 6:30 ish to read, have the snooze on, or when your alarm first get up, snooze it instead of cutting it off. So that way, when you start reading, if you drift, the snooze alarm will go off, and you can
um,
snooze it again to keep you up during that time. Because eventually, you'll just stay up. But like them, I know them that first 15 of waking up
oh
early
yeah.
always is crucial. It's crucial. You ain't gonna make it if you ain't got nothing in place.
Listen,
Cause then if you fall asleep in that 15, I promise you your body gonna tag on an hour and a half and you gonna be late.
yep. Listen, I don't listen. If God want me to stay to get up early, I am really gonna need His strength to do so. Cause, and I know like
Nope. Cause nope.
The Proverbs 31 woman, like she gets up early to do this, that, and the
Nope.
third. I get
That
it,
ain't it.
but listen,
That ain't it.
child.
Not that ain't it. Because remember you woke up super early to go get some money. He don't want to
Okay.
hear that. He don't want to hear that. He don't want to hear that. I'm telling you, he don't want to hear that. Hey, I'm gonna need your strength. You ain't need my strength to go get some money.
I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to really fight my flesh. And God told me that too. He was like, "You gonna have to fight on at where I have you right now. It's
You have to
fighting
fight.
time. You gonna have to fight on some stuff. You have to fight." And
Does
I'm just
working out
like,
wake you up or put you to sleep?
it wakes me up actually, because that's the point of it. That's why I work out in the mornings.
So, what time do you normally work out in the morning?
See, how I've been doing is I will work out at the gym that I work at before I go to work. So if I know I gotta be to work at 10:30. But like I said, even that is cool if I'm waking up at 7, because I will go to like one of the 9:45 workout sessions, and then once that's
So
finished,
you normally wake up at 7.
yeah,
So dial it back just 30 minutes.
yeah,
In my opinion, I would say start out slow and just dial it back 10 to 15 minutes for
yeah,
a week. And then the next week, dial it back another 5 minutes until you at least get to 6:30.
yeah,
Because you got to wean it off. Sometimes I have learned diets and alarms. I feel like they ain't too different. You can't do certain stuff
and
cold
working
turkey.
out. Working out is the same way, because like I had to start with 1 day and then 2 days, and then it got to 3, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go run outside for 3 4 days. And so
Yeah.
it's a process. It takes time, and God keeps reminding me, like, okay, it took you 20 plus years to get here. It's gonna take you some time. Practice makes perfect. Things happen in repetition. I created you to be able to pick things up in repetition. So it's just gonna take some repetition and some discipline on your part. You need self-control. Part of the fruit of the spirit is self-control. You need to be able to control yourself and not get lazy and go to sleep, or not let your body, your flesh, take you over. And child, whole
Tough
fight.
right there.
Whole fight.
Because you fighting for other reasons now.
Yep.
Boy,
Anyway, how
right
are
now
you?
I'm struggling. I'm struggling in other ways. Man, look. Let me go and put this announcement out here. Men, quit playing, gonna get them pedicures, bro. It feel good, man. I'm just gonna have put it out. Ain't nothing gay about it. Ain't nothing gay about it. Look, I'm talking to my heterosexual, cisgender, especially black men who think everything to take care of themselves is gay. Let me address y'all real quick. You look stupid. You look ashy. You look crusty. Take care of yourself.
And to get real
It,
ignorant real quick, wash your butt.
and
That's
not just wash, scrub.
Get in the creases and the
Get
crevices.
up in it, because Twitter be having folks think that it is gay to wash your crack. I don't get
Who
it.
told
It
you
is
that?
stupid. Who They have threads about it. It is
That's how
one of
you
our
get
friends
E.
got a
coli.
long list. No, one of our friends got a long and no, no, no. Let me tell you the crazy part. Guess who's saying it? Women.
That's how you get E. coli, fool. That actually is.
Women have
That's actually a way to get E. coli. Like if you are
I know,
if you are
but
engaged
there
in
are
oral sex with a man who does not wash himself, that fecal matter can transfer. And yes, he could probably
oh,
have fecal matter on his nutsack, and
excuse me.
it can
Oh
transfer.
Lord.
Listen,
Oh, hold
listen,
on.
but we're real, right? Is this not something that
Right, but
people?
I was trying to drink some water. Nah, it don't taste right.
What? Anyway,
Water.
wash yourselves, clean yourselves.
But the thing about it is so crazy is like a lot of the threads that was on Twitter. And when our homeboys literally be saving the thread, he got a long note
Oh, good
with
grief.
all the stuff
I feel
that
like I
is like,
know.
yeah, you know exactly. But all the stuff that we have seen on Twitter that like girls have deemed gay, and it is like normal thing. Like today, when somebody was like, hold on. I know, listen, I ain't gonna say no name, but it's my boy. So I'm gonna read the tweet because this is stupid. Hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick because it made me very upset that somebody even said this. Hold on. As a man, why are you calling AAA to help you change a tire? Now,
No, some people ain't
here's
been
the issue.
told.
No. It ain't even that. Sometimes you ain't got the tools in the vehicle.
Also, that I am one of those people. I need to get that together because that's like three,
And,
4 years.
and he and they was like, is it gay to have car insurance with roadside assistance? Because some days you just don't feel like it.
And that's okay.
And that's okay, bro. You ever like folks that be
Especially,
working, especially my homeboys that work 12-hour shifts, like you catch a flat, bro. I would rather you call AAA to change your tire because I know in the midst of you change your tire, you might go posted out in the street and hit somebody with a tire iron because you've been overworked for about 2
I'm
weeks.
finna say, like, even that, like, ain't no telling what's going on in your day, and then the tire getting like catching a flat just sets it off, and you just like, oh my goodness.
Because I ain't even gonna hold you. I think I called AAA one time to change the tire or to do something in my car, even though I had the tools. But I knew for a fact the way my day had went, I could change it. But as angry as I was, I knew I had the strength to break off a lug nut. So
Yeah.
I was like, let me take this time while they coming to calm down. Maybe this is my you need to sit for a second and relax. Cause I was on a 12 out of 10 that day. I remember specifically. And I knew if I had changed that tire, I wasn't gonna be able to drive my car. I was gonna have to call AAA regardless because I'd probably had broke off a lug nut because I was so angry changing the tire. It happens.
But let's talk about that though. Like, what does it mean to be a man? Like, what constitutes a man? Especially like, let's compare how the world views what a man is and what the Bible says a man should be. I started to get into this conversation until I went off on a tangent for a bit with a friend of ours the other night. And what I meant to do with the conversation was lead it into what marriage actually is,
Oh yeah.
compared to how people in the world view marriage or how we've been taught to view marriage. Because it's really not all about, like, the romanticism is cute, but it's really not all about that.
Mhm.
And there's gonna come a time, because he mentioned something about like wanting to be in love, and I was like, I started to say like, yeah, that's great, but like it's important to know what that means, what love means, but and
Mhm.
also understand, like, if you're thinking like in love, like those giddy butterfly feelings, that's gonna fade, and that's gonna be like real, like up and down roller
Man,
coaster.
love is way more than the emotion,
Yeah,
partner.
it's gonna ebb and flow and stuff like that. So it's not always gonna be the butterfly feeling. And I used to get caught up in that too, and feeling like I always had to have those butterflies. And even in my relationship with God, like I noticed that like it still comes, but it's not a every single day thing. It's sometimes it just gets very mundane and very regular. And then God will jump in and do something and be like, oh yeah, I serve a real supernatural God.
Yeah. Come in and be like, oh, you thought you was gonna get bored today? You get bored with me? I bet. Boo doo doo doo. Mess your whole life up. You be like, okay, I
Right?
know
Or
you
it
will.
just
My bad.
or it's those moments where God just comes in and he's like, I want you to spend some time with me. And then you go and spend time with him. And at first you're not spending time with him as much as you were, because it's become just so routine and so regular.
Or
And
you
then y'all
scared
spend
to.
time together, and then he just blow your mind by showing you something. And you like, okay.
Hey, that's why I be
But
having to walk with him every day because I know it be certain stuff I see and I be like, all right, God,
right,
look what that is. What
right.
that mean?
So all that to
Like,
say, how does the world let's look at how the world constitutes what it means to be a man, and even what it means to be a woman. and what
So
the
are we having a toxic masculinity, femininity conversation
in a
episode? Is
way,
that what
and
we doing?
oh, and that
I
flows
bet.
so well with like what God has been talking to me about. Cause like I don't know how y'all feeling about it. And I don't tune that much into the world, but like I get peeks and glimpses in. So I could like understand certain references and stuff, especially when I see them on TikTok. Which I also have to stay away from, because that's a drug. But anyway,
You talking about what part?
um, TikTok is a drug.
Man, facts. TikTok had you. Oh, I'm finna just watch this TikTok before I go to bed. 3 hours later.
Listen, but anyway, so this Will Smith
Terrible.
and Jada Pinkett Smith situation, where Will Smith.
Oh, we doing this? We doing this.
So it's not that. It's just something that God revealed to me. It's just because as soon as I saw it, like there's something that
I talking about
immediately
Will.
clicked in my mind, and what it was is between the two of them, between Jada and Will, I see Jezebel and Ahab, and I
All
see
right.
it by how if you look at the
Break that down for people who don't know what that means.
so Jezebel, not even the spirits, sure, but also like the story. There's a story where
Mhm.
Jezebel, where's the verse? I can't find the verse right now.
Give me a
Um,
second. You know I'm a good researcher.
it's when there is a prophet and Jezebel don't like what he said,
Wife
and
of Ahab.
yeah, Jezebel is the wife of Ahab, and they were ruling over their kingdom or whatever the case, um, were very heavy in paganism.
The
And
Phoenician cities of Tyre, is it Tyre or Tyre and Sidon,
Tyre, something like that, and they were leading
and
people to
Sidon or
destruction.
Sidon.
Yeah, they were leading people to destruction basically, by sharing paganism, by promoting paganism, all of that. And so there was a prophet, was it name with the N? Who was the prophet? I don't remember. I'll find out. But
Is it?
it's in Kings. It's
Hold
in one
on.
of the Kings, I know.
I think it's in second. Let me see. Da-da-da.
But there was a moment where she didn't like what he said. Um, and she basically got in Ahab's ear and was just like, you just gonna let him do this, that, and the third. You just gonna let him say that. And then he was like, well, you do what you think is best. And then she sent off for him to be murdered. She sent off for the
First Kings
prophet.
16:31 is when she pops up, I think.
Okay.
And
She
it
she
came to
sent for the
pass.
prophet to be murdered. And I see that because if you listen to what Will's story is and how he seeks his validation from his wife, um,
Always have since he been with her.
yeah, he seeks his validation
Since
from how she feels. And so he was laughing at the joke, but then he looked and saw her face, and then all of a sudden he goes up and slaps Chris Rock and is talking about and screaming and saying keep my wife's name out your mouth and all this. When 0.2 seconds ago you was laughing at the joke that he made about her.
here's the thing about that, and this is just my opinion.
There it's
Do I
it's two
believe
it's two sides to it. I get it. Like
oh,
I get the protect black women thing. I get that.
I'm definitely on riding that train. However, this is where I'm at with it. Do I believe he should stood up for his wife and did what he did? I mean, the ratchet in me, like, yeah, I ain't even gonna hold you. However, the righteous in me is like, I in acting that way, you have cost yourself. Because guess what just happened today? He had to resign from the academy
Aw.
today.
And again,
And
that is and not even Jezebel, not even necessarily Jada leading him to destruction in a way, perhaps, or but whatever demon is attached to her, whatever spirit is attached to her, that also plays on whatever spirit of insecurity is attached to him, has led him there.
because
Just
I'm gonna
like,
be honest, it's been a slippery slope the entire time throughout the end. If you look at their entire relationship
oh yeah,
from beginning to now, And I mean, we joke about it a lot, or the world has joked about it a lot, but Will was never the person she wanted.
When it
She
listen,
wanted Tupac.
when entanglements came about, I was through
Boy,
with them.
boy,
I
listen.
was so through with them. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Listen, that was what she said. An entanglement. That's the way he said it, an entanglement. Yeah. An entanglement with August.
And I was like, what? And
Boy,
then I
I
don't
ain't
like
never
how she
heard
did it.
entanglement in this way.
I don't like
Who
how
even
she
use
shared
entangle?
that intimate moment with him to the world. Like that's
I think
that's
they had
like
already talked about it, apparently.
okay. I see from my understanding that was the first time she was telling him. And if
Mm-mm.
that was the case, I'm like, ma'am, that ain't how you do that. Because that's
Mama said something.
embarrassing. To, that's embarrassing in a bunch of ways. But like to be for that to be the first time that you hear that, and now your
She has
reaction,
emasculated him countless times on that podcast, on the Red Table Talks,
I've
and
only
in
seen a couple
live and in person.
episodes.
She has emasculated and talked about Will bad several times.
Mm,
And he has not responded each time. I ain't even gonna hold you.
mm,
Um, but she has definitely like emasculated him to the world several times.
wow.
She has talked about their sex life, all different types of stuff out in the open on this public forum we
And
call
see, I'm not
Facebook.
even gonna lie. I used to do that too. Like I used to be very just open about talking about my sex life, and that's just because I didn't see the value in it. I didn't see the I tied my own self esteem to it more than I tied my. I, I didn't know my worth, and so my value was connected to sex, and so I would talk about it as much as possible.
Same.
And so now as I'm learning about that and learning how sacred that really is, especially between your husband, between a husband and a wife, like that is a gift for the two of you to share. Nobody else needs to know about that. Nobody else needs to know how y'all get down. Nobody else needs to know how undefiled your bed of marriage is.
Can't wait.
Yeah, and we can
I'm
talk
be
about
real
that
about
and
it.
be like, oh, I just
I'll be
can't
real.
wait.
That'd be.
Like
I can't wait. But I
that's
can't wait
I
to be
think that's a
king.
different
Whatever
level.
Simba
Like
said.
I think that's very different to just say like, oh yeah, I just can't wait. Cause that's facts. I just
Listen,
can't wait.
I
But
can't
like
wait.
I'm not gonna go into detail about what that means. I'm not gonna go into
Nope,
detail or with
not at
anybody
all.
once it happens. I'm
Listen,
not gonna go into detail about once it starts happening. I'm not gonna go into
listen.
detail
Nah, because
about
that is
what
that
that
between me and
means.
my wife. And I'm gonna tell you
Exactly.
right
Like
now.
we
Let
have
me
spent
let me
time
be.
cultivating this, and over time, y'all get to grow together. Like,
Oh yeah.
listen,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna be ignorant right now. I just can't wait to be king. Simba said it. I'm just saying. I can't wait to be king.
oh wow, you are wild.
Hey, listen. When I get married, everybody need to understand. When I say it's me and my wife time, don't you call me, text me,
Facts,
nothing.
facts.
You bet. Look, putting out an APB. When I get home, if you ain't hit me up before I got home, it better be an emergency.
Facts.
Cause I don't, bruh, I'm with my best friend right now. No disrespect to my best friends I have now, but this is my eternal best friend. I don't want look, I love y'all, but there is priority.
Well, technically, Jesus is your eternal best friend, but
I mean, that's he listen,
I know what
there
you
is
mean.
multiple titles that he got,
Yes, that is true.
period. He got multiple titles in my life. Right now, he my brother that be whooping me for the father right now, currently.
Yeah.
That's just how we going. We rocking. He that older brother that got to come in the stead of the father to go correct you before you go to judgment. That's where I'm at.
Yes.
But like the same way as like your husband and your wife should be, in my opinion, and this is just me talking from the perspective of seeing marriages and relationships, since I'm not married yet, this is just what I've seen. This is what I've experienced. And this is some of the problems that I've had to talk to people about that were married and I was single, which was weird, which I shouldn't have been in them positions. But hey, God gave me a word, gave it to him. Um, your friends shouldn't be all in your marriage, no way.
Not at
We
all.
all say this, but we really need to understand, like, bruh, look, there are some conversations, and I remember somebody taught me this very well not too long, like a while back. Some stuff is literally May household
Yeah.
or whatever your husband last name household. Like some stuff is whatever it is between you and your husband or wife. That is some, it ain't got nothing to do with your friends. This conversation is strictly just us.
And it's not because
And
I,
when you go out of us to talk about it, you violating
yeah,
boundaries.
yeah.
I say that in relationships now too. If you trying to be, if you with who God say you need to be with, and you see where God leading you in that relationship, look, some stuff ain't meant for the general populace. And social media has screwed that up for a lot of people.
And has made us believe that that is what a relationship is. It has made us believe that the whole world has to know what y'all doing, what y'all eating, where y'all going. That's dangerous, actually,
Yeah, that's
from a
and
spiritual
you putting
perspective
the
and a
exact
natural perspective.
location, you putting the exact location of where you at on your post, trying to stunt, but in reality, if somebody was really out to get you, they know exactly where you at.
And that's again, that's natural and that's spiritual too. Because if somebody is out there saying, "Oh, this where y'all at right now," but I bet y'all ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna. They casting a spell like right there. Or they speaking death over your relationship right there by just saying, "Oh, y'all look all happy." You ain't gonna know what's going on in my relationship. I know God ain't gonna put me with nobody like this, but like only time I'm gonna open my mouth is if somebody put their hands on me.
Mm-mm. And that's the
But
thing, like outside of like abuse and other things like that, conflict, like average conflict, why your homegirl know everything your man did to you wrong?
right, right.
Like, because it gets to a point to where although you have forgiven that person, your friends or family members may not have.
Yeah, and people talk about that a lot.
But like folks don't be getting how imperative that is, because if you done aired out your partner dirty laundry to all the, like to your family and your friends,
They
but
don't
then you stick with them,
they don't
how you
love you
think they
like
still gonna look at them?
they don't love him like you love him, or they don't love her like you love her.
And that's why I don't put none of nobody, I don't put nobody personal business out there no more. That was, I don't do that. That was never me in the first place. I might have slipped up there once in a while, maybe we're having conversations with friends, stuff like that. But now I don't do that. Whatever we have talked about between me and my partner, I don't discuss that with other people. And if I feel like somebody might even have an opinion that might be worth seeking about a situation, I'm gonna ask her, "Hey, you mind if I ask so and so about this? Because I feel like they might have a better answer." If
Right.
she say yay or nay, then. But other than that, if I, no,
And that's just
because
out of
it's
respect. That's something I think you need to
exactly.
really like that's put emphasis on that. Like I talk to my partner about talking to somebody else about this first. I didn't just go to somebody else first. I asked my partner, "Hey, is it okay if we talk about this? Or if I talk about this with somebody else or ask them a question to see if they can help me out? I may not give them all the details, but like I need some help getting this answer. Is that okay?"
Hmm. But folks just like we tweet everything we think.
Yeah.
Like I have seen folks' whole relationships on Twitter from beginning to end. And it's folks that I don't
Mm,
even know. But how I know your relationship more than I know you that I follow you on Twitter.
yeah.
Like Facebook, king of too much information. King.
Mm.
Folks air out everything on Facebook. Like I still remember. I don't know if you remember this, but you remember Birmingham Tea Shop on Facebook? Were you ever hip to that?
No.
Boy, it is literally Birmingham Tea Shop. Tea used to be piping hot, boy. They aired out. I remember one time it was a video girl had put on blast and put a video tag saying, "Is this your man?" And it was a video with multiple dudes. She aired out their whole name and a picture. Talking about, "Is this your man?" And then the dude did it for some girls too.
Mm.
I'm just like, we out everything because we think it's cool to talk mess. Like I have
Like
never understood
it's
how mess became cool.
something that God revealed to me recently, or just brought back to my memory, is like how really we actually have been brought up by people who, because they didn't know much about emotional intelligence, they
If at all.
yeah, if at all, they humiliation was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I that came to my memory recent, like this past Sunday,
Ooh,
because
you know what?
God reminded me of something that happened to me where I was like, instead of my mom having like the capacity to just be like, okay, if my daughter is saying some of these things to this guy, she must be, because she ended up going through my Facebook messages, and she was like, if my daughter is saying these things to this guy, she must actually really just be hurt and not really know any better about anything, and I need to talk to her, I need to shower her with love or something, or help her understand. She didn't do that. And God had to like reveal to me that that's something that I just hadn't forgiven her of, because what she did was basically humiliate me. When my mom, so there was a moment where I was 16, I had been sneaking this guy in my house. We had been having sex in my mom's house. And it was
Mm-hmm.
because at 16, I didn't know love. This was the only way that I was receiving like true attention, or what I felt like love was. And I was willing to do anything for it, even be disrespectful to my mom. And that's not cool. I don't recommend it. And I don't condone it. But at that time, I really did not know better, and I did not know how broken I really was. And when my mom found out about it, we got home. She was driving me home from my grandma's house, and she was just quiet the entire ride, and I didn't really understand why. And we got home, and her boyfriend at the time is sitting on the couch, and he looking serious, and I'm like, what's going on? And my mama just walked in the house and is like, why is a neighbor telling me that you have snuck somebody in my house? And we go through that. I tell her everything. And then she makes me call my granddaddy, which nobody understood why until recently. I was like, she wanted to humiliate me because I had pissed her off so much. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, she was hurting. Hurt people. So she wanted me to hurt as much as she was hurting, not knowing I was already hurting, not realizing I was already hurting. And she made me call my granddaddy. And my granddaddy drove to the house and slapped me. And when we went to pastoral care, because really in that moment, she actually wanted to hurt me. She said, she admitted it in pastoral care. She was like, she said, the reason why I did it, well, the reason why I had her call him is because I didn't want to hit her, because I knew I would hurt her, but I knew he would hit her. And then you had,
Logically, that don't make no sense. But I'm gonna let you go off. Keep with the story. I ain't mean to cut in, but that part just really blew me. But
yeah.
go ahead. My bad.
And this is
Wow.
not to air out, like, that sounds bad, because I don't want to
No,
air out her dirty laundry or anything like that. And that's not to do that, because this does seem
because
counterproductive.
we've healed from that. It's just an
Yeah, or I'm
example.
in with that situation. I'm in the process of healing from it. But
Okay, cool.
I love my mom. Like I'm coming to a place where I'm forgiving her and I acknowledge where she was at that time.
Yeah,
Because she's not there anymore. She's not that person anymore. But
right.
then a couple days later, because she took my phone, so a couple days later, she had gone through my Facebook messages, and when she does that, when she comes to pick me up from my grandparents' house that day, she tells them everything that's in my messages. And
That's tough.
that was so humiliating. But that's what we've been, that's the generation that brought us up, who taught us that we don't, instead of knowing how to really handle conflict or handle hard situations, the only thing we know how to turn to is humiliation. And so we humiliate others because we're hurt and we want them to hurt as much as we're hurting, or because we just don't know how to handle the situation. So we turn to humiliation. And a lot of parents do that to their children, especially when they spread their children's business to other family members. And then at that time, she also says, like, think more of yourself. And at that time, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means to think more of myself because I don't. Or at that time, I didn't. And she had never taught me that because that's not something that she was given. And so I think even in those instances, we turn to humiliation because we know that in some way we are also at fault and we don't know how to handle being at fault, so we turn the blame on somebody else, or we turn the lens to somebody else's pain or to somebody else's wounds or brokenness or whatever. You just
And that's the
process your
thing, like when it comes to, I would say, parents, in a sense, like, or I say, going back to the topic hand, like really keeping stuff in house is what you really supposed to be doing.
yeah.
Like you don't know how spread, like, but also, my bad. Let me finish the sentence. Keeping stuff in house is very important, but I would say I grew up the other side of the spectrum, which is extremely dangerous. The uh what happens in this house, stay in this house bondage.
Yeah.
Boy, that has kept me hurt for a long time.
And I was gonna say that too. Like, don't think like we're saying like you have to stay in that, because that is a form of bondage. Like that, what happens in this house stays in this house. That can be very dangerous and very crippling.
Because when I tell you, that's the reason why I had to learn there was a difference between having pride of not asking for help and being traumatized of asking for help.
Mm,
I just recently got to this stage. Like people used to always be like, Jay got so much pride because he don't never ask for help. He just da da da. I grew up in a household that was what happens in this house, stay in this house to the extreme.
mm.
So asking for help was not a thing, at least outside of the parameters of the home. Like, because, there is a thing about putting out your people business and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
sometimes the house ain't where your help can come from.
that's true.
But me being scarred like that from a young age is what made me not ask for help for so long. It got to the point where I wouldn't even ask for help in schoolwork
Mm.
because I had been traumatized to not ask for help.
Mm.
And it's such an extreme thing that people don't understand how bad it really affects somebody, because especially when tied into the toxicity of men don't ask for help, you got to figure it out. It's part of being a man, whatever the world's saying it,
There's
stuff.
layers to that.
But sometimes that comes from, depending on what you went on at home, what is allowed, can you ask for help? That type of deal. Are things going on with you personally that you can't talk about because you sworn to secrecy? And that keeps a lot of folks still stuck to this day, as folks now that are not being able to have conversations due to the fact of, certain people can't because they were sworn to bondage secrecy since they were 12 and they're 50. And a lot of people don't understand that at all. And that's why I just, I come from the other side of the spectrum, but I totally understand keeping stuff in-house. Oh yeah. But
we went off on a tangent for a second. All that to say, when it comes to relationships, and how the world portrays them, that we're a tad bit off on what that's supposed to be. And that comes from us being a tad bit off when it comes to what a man is and what a woman is, or who a woman should be, what a woman should be, and what a man should be. Because again, it's rooted in a lot of superficiality.
A lot of lies.
It's rooted into a lot of things of this world. So let's look at that. Like, what are some things that this world says? Okay, so for men, I want you to tell me what the world tells you that a woman is, or that a woman should be. And I'm going to tell you what the messages that the world gives me about what a man is or what a man should be.
Oh, you talking about, so we going to talk about what the world teaches us about the opposite sex?
Yes, let's do that.
I was just thinking that's where we were going to go with that, but I did not know. Hold on.
Okay, that means Holy Spirit leading us both.
Because I was just finna ask you. Hold on, let me do this real quick. Give me a 5-second. One. Okay. So the world has told us, and I feel like it has changed in recent years, but the world has told men that whatever we want from a female, we should be able to get. That like, even when you have a woman in your life, your opinion matters way more than hers. Like, you've been taught to be the leader so much that it literally has silenced women.
And do you think that has a lot to do with the misconception of what submission and leadership is?
I feel like submission, and me and you've been talking about this a bunch of times. You know how I feel about the word submission, on how the English, which has ruined the definition of what submission is really supposed to mean in the Bible. Because in my opinion, submission is respect, not slavery.
No, it's never meant to be slavery.
But that's what
it's honor. Yeah, it's respect. It's honor.
There's respect and honor. And that's supposed to be going both ways. But in reality, we have made it seem like women are supposed to be second to us in everything. And that's because of the patriarchal society that has been crafted. Like, no matter what happens, we're supposed to be ahead. And we've taken the head of the household role and really changed that to an extreme case. And in my opinion, fellas, the submission part, women do not submit to this, all of the other term of alpha men. What? Stop it. Oh my God, bro. I be want to throw up every time I see a video talking about alpha men. Bruh, if you got to say you an alpha, you're not alpha. But also the world has told men that, you know, a woman is more object than human.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying this day and age that we should not have to work hard for a woman. We should automatically just be able to get one, no matter what has happened, because women are not human beings the way the world teaches us. Now, has men carried that narrative? Yes. Have some women also carried that narrative?
Yeah.
Yes. Because there have been, and I've been in rooms to where women have told their sons the same narrative, which is scary.
Mm.
I've seen moms tell their sons, yeah, look, the girl gonna be like this, this, that, and the other. You need to be like this. And I'm just like, why you saying that to your, all girls ain't gonna be like that. And to be honest, it's not even gonna be a majority of them. Like, I've had women tell me straight up to my face, oh, girl ain't gonna be nothing but this, this, and this. So you watch out for you. I'd be like, dang. A woman told me this, not a man. So I'm not going to say the blame is on one side. Both sides have believed the rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, we are literally taught that women are inferior to us. You're taught that even though the rhetoric may not say it directly, that's what it means. And that's not true at all. And to be honest, it's sad to say that rhetoric survives when men have daughters.
Mm.
That makes no sense to me.
But even with that perspective, though, it should not take you having a daughter.
But that's the
Well,
problem.
I know that's a lot of men's situation. Like, oh man, I got a daughter now. I realize that it shouldn't take that though.
Not only that, it's the running thing of, and I used to joke about this when I was younger until I had to learn a little bit more. Because I used to always joke and say, oh, if you was out there like that, you gonna end up getting a daughter to pay for all the hearts and women that you did wrong. I feel like I used to say that when I was like young, because I was like, I felt like that was God checking you for all the stuff you did as a man wrong to women. You gonna have a daughter. And I've seen a whole lot of dudes that was out here just in these streets doing whatever they want to do to women. And then they had babies. And usually their first baby was a girl. And I used to always say that as God checkmate to your life for everything you did wrong to women. Now you have to literally try to do whatever it takes. But then that get toxic too on how men raise girls. The way you can't do this, but the boy can.
That goes into a whole other conversation.
Boy, do. But just overwhelming narrative that men are just taught, like, straight men supposed to get the girl. Like, the girl is the utmost. Like, men have started wars over sex with women. Like, it is a part of your makeup. Like, it is a part of your masculinity armor to have as many notches on your belt as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that women have been, the fact that that was even a phrase, a notch on the belt, bruh. Really? But we're taught that. And we're taught that early. We're taught that, like, some boys are taught that before they even turn age 10. So we are literally taught that women are not human in various ways, and that they are supposed to just do whatever we say. And that is something I never subscribed to, especially being raised by the women. I had my grandfather as my father, but still, I was raised by strong women. My grandmother and my mother don't play. Never have, never will. So they taught me from watching my mother, like, I ain't even gonna hold you. This being me being transparent. The first time I seen like domestic violence in like any household, not talking about mine, but just period, I saw a woman throwing hands.
Oh, same. The first time that I saw domestic violence, like that I knew about, because apparently there was stuff going on that I didn't know about, or I was too
Not,
young to understand.
not
But
saying that men
like,
don't domestic violence because we know the rates.
nah, my mama, she don't play that. Mama don't play that at all.
Mama don't play that. Homie don't play that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. My mama, I still remember my mama DDT'd me in 8th grade for doing something stupid. And my mama was like a $140 wet, and I was like 5'10", 240. Butterball, like at 14. And boy, all I know is I came in one night from doing some stupid stuff. Mama's beat my head in all the way to the front door. I walked my grandma sitting down. I saw my grandma, and then I saw my grandma inverted. And I didn't know what, I was like, what happened? Then I noticed I was upside down, not her. And that's when I knew, don't try my mama. I knew my several times, never try my mama. But that day, mine, boy, and also, side note, parents have perfect accuracy when they are angry.
Oh,
Don't know.
listen.
Because my mama hit me in the eye so smooth that she hit me to where it wouldn't blacken around my eye. I don't know how. Accuracy was pinpoint. And I deserved it. I did something so stupid that night. I deserved it. I'd rather her beat me than what I was supposed to get in the streets that night. But, boy, anyway. But that's from the men's perspective of toxicity that we are taught. Like, bro, we don't have to earn this. We own this.
What?
At least on the women.
As a
That's why.
woman or as a girl, I was taught that men or boys are very sexually charged. All and then I was taught that about all boys, which now as an adult I'm just like, that's the flesh, and that's the enemy using the flesh against us, and da da da. I know all that
But
now.
that's what we taught too, though. We taught that early.
Yeah, y'all are taught that. I know that much. I know that y'all are taught like the P is the power, and like you said, you need as much of it as possible in
to
order
make you
to
be a man.
Yeah. But I was taught that. I was taught very early on that men just aren't to be trusted.
Which hurts a lot of times. I ain't gonna hold you from my perspective.
Yeah. I was taught that just from experiences. Like I said, first time I saw domestic violence was my mama, because again, she didn't play no foolishness. And so if she find out you cheating, you getting your head bust. And
your mama get look like she got heavy hands.
oh yes. But yeah, I was taught very early, like, men are not to be trusted. And I chased that for a long time, and I for some reason, like, a man's trust and approval was all that mattered to me. I was taught that. I don't know how I was taught that. I think I was taught that in reverse. Because I never felt that I had it, that I had man's approval just off rip from my dad. But like, even from my granddaddy, like, I didn't see that. I didn't see like the affectionate side of him. And I chased that for a very long time. And I've always just been, God has blessed me to just be very insightful early on. And the enemy manipulated that by telling me, like, okay, because you know that trust is a way to intimacy, you have to chase a man and get them to trust you so that they can want to be intimate with you and accept you, want to accept you. And so for a very long time, I just wanted a man to be close to me or a boy to be close to me, close enough to me where they felt like they could trust me. And then ultimately feel like, okay, yeah, I trust her. I don't trust nobody else like I trust her. So I'm going to be with her. And
Which in
that,
relationships, you should trust your girl. I ain't
yeah,
gonna,
but
you should be
like
able to trust your partner, but there's a difference to it.
that, but also one, I shouldn't have been chasing it. If that's something that's gonna happen, like I need to trust God and trust that that's gonna unfold in His time. Um, but also that in itself can be very manipulative, and that's how that can be a gateway into an abusive relationship. Because if I was that kind of person, I could have easily said, well, you don't trust nobody else like you trust me. So why would you even want to go to somebody else? You can't trust nobody else like you trust me. If I was a messed up person like that, I could say that. But I didn't want to be because that trust matters so much to me. and
Like
that tr-
trust in
and
relationships is a
that trust
whole
validated me so much
because you had it.
because I had it. And I think that's for the longest time. I really think that's why I couldn't let go of a certain relationship, just because of the level of intimacy and trust that we had with one another. That made it hard because I felt like as this person moves on and begins to trust somebody or yeah, fully trust somebody else, where does that leave me? And will I ever be able to get another man to trust me like that again? Or will I ever trust somebody else like that again? Because again, I'm taught that men can't be trusted. It's a whole conundrum, a whole conundrum. But
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 as a side to add to that, that goes into the other part of, I would say, toxicity that we are taught as men, bruh. We are not taught truly how to be intimate because we are taught provide, protect, the normal stuff.
mhm,
Like intimacy is not what we are taught. We are taught that sex is the only form of intimacy.
mm,
And that is like the only way to be intimate with a woman is if you have sex with her. That's what the
right.
world tried to put me in. And boy, it took me, I wouldn't say it took me a long time to understand. I think I always wanted to be an intimate person, but I think the other form of toxicity that comes from the other side of the spectrum is emotions and intimacy is not wanted from a man some days. Not, I ain't say not some days, but I have experienced that men and women have all both been taught that a man with emotions or intimacy is weakness. And that is such a trap in itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I ain't even gonna lie, like thinking back on like certain relationships, I look at how I may have lacked intimacy because I felt that wasn't wanted from me, or that when I wanted to be intimate or wanted to be emotional, to share my emotions, that it was then treated as weakness. So I then put the walls back up around it.
Mm.
Because, and men, I would say this too, and I say this just to my ladies, if a man is opening up to you about anything, that is a level of trust that should be, there should be a red light stop sign in a woman's mind to be like, whoa, wait a minute. he's opening up to me about something, I should pump the brakes and listen, because it don't happen often for us, or we don't feel comfortable enough to do so said things. So, but I have also been abused in those ways, because when I did try to open up and be a little bit more affectionate or emotional or want to do intimacy, because I'm a very intimate person. People don't notice about me because and not too many people have given me the opportunity to be, or at least when they wanted it from me was after they had probably torn me down during the time when I tried to be unknowingly. And it's crazy how I have seen the toxic image of what a man is supposed to be affect a relationship between a man and a woman, or just between men, period. And how that looks at, oh, you're being emotional right now. Oh, I don't need that. But at the same breath, I've seen many women complain about men not being emotional or being intimate. And those same women have also ostracized or condemned said men for doing so.
Yeah.
Which that's, you can't, like, how you gonna ask for something then when a man does it, you don't want that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's literal insanity. And then people be wondering why men just close up and don't share nothing. It's more than just the male pride that has been instituted of we don't share our feelings and our emotions. It's also when we wanted to, said person didn't want to receive it.
Yeah.
Or didn't like the package that it may came in. Because a lot of times how we do leak out our emotions sometimes starts with anger, because that's what we taught. But I would say sometimes in those moments, look past the anger to see what's being said. Now, does he need to calm down? Probably. Does he need to learn how to talk to you? Absolutely. Do he need to be like, hey, you need to tone it down a minute? You're getting a little crazy? Yes. But in that
even
moment,
in that, like what you learn in marriage is that you, or even in just relationships in general, as this person's person or their wife, their helpmate, whatever, it is for you so that y'all can have that open communication to be like, I appreciate you sharing this with me. However, let's talk about how you presented it. Sometimes we got to step out of our own way, step out of our pride and our emotions sometimes. Not to say that our emotions aren't valid, because we can still, we don't have to let them lead us. So we can sit down and be like, okay, look, I'm a little bit upset about how you presented that to me, because I don't like it, because I don't speak to you in that tone. But let's talk about how you presented this to me.
yeah.
I'm honored that you did. I appreciate it. I want more of it. Let's work on doing it a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a judgment. That's not saying like you did this wrong or whatever. That's like, I want us to have more moments, more intimate moments. I want to know you more. I want to grow with you more. But also to make sure that our relationship can stay on good ground as well. You gonna have to lower your tone, bro. And let's
Right.
get some therapy and work on managing your emotions and
Right.
working on how to express certain emotions.
And just me being transparent, and I guess this is me being personal about it. There was a relationship I had to where in arguments or debates or whatever it will be called, if I did not have the exact timestamp, exact words that were said, all the way down to the very letters that were used in the same sentence about something that I did not like or something that was bothering me that my partner had did at the time, my experience and my emotions were invalid. And that made me, in those times, I did not know that that person doing that made me slowly close back up. Because my emotions didn't matter anymore because I didn't have all the evidence of A through Z to present to this person on why said thing bothered me or why what they did was wrong in
when
my
it,
mind.
when at that time it's just very possible that you didn't have all your thoughts together to be able to present all of that.
But even if you ain't got all your thoughts together, if somebody's expressing you an experience that they're having and you just deny that due to the fact that they don't have all their thoughts together,
Yeah.
especially in the middle of a heated moment, I would say for men, I we then learn, oh, I can't talk to you. Oh, I can't be real with you. I can't give you my emotions. I can't tell you how I feel. Because when I tried, you denied it because I didn't have enough evidence.
Hmm.
And in that relationship, that then in turn turned me back cold when I was opening up to my partner more. But when that person started doing said things, it made me go, nah. And that gave me a piece of trauma that I carry in other relationships since that time. Because I used to feel like my emotions were not going to be validated unless I had every piece of information.
Hmm.
So, and I had to learn that no, my emotions and feelings and experience is valid, even if I didn't got all my words and my thoughts together.
Yeah.
And I had to relearn that because I had shut it down due to that. And truth be told, it ended up becoming a problem in that relationship later. But looking back on it, I'm like, that person didn't realize that I was already trying to be emotionally open with them, but they shut that down.
Yeah.
So
Mm. I think so, and something that this part of the conversation has brought up for me is another thing that I was taught as a girl is, or as a girl and a woman is
men ain't got
one
emotions.
one men play games. I was taught that men always play games, and I used to hate it because I was like, that was the one thing that I will say I always hated is that you have to move in a relationship like it's a game, and I have been taught that from the time that I was 5 years old on up, just from media,
One step ahead of the
from
person.
from parents. Like it, you have to move like it's a game. And how I was taught that was one, I know you like this person, but you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So I
Mm,
was taught very early on, like it's not cool to go all in. Um,
I was taught that through relationships, and I never ascribed to it because I was like, nah. But I get it.
and I was taught from guys that I was interested in, like that it's not cool to go all in because they was just like, you trying too hard.
Oh yeah, we
And
had
I'm
talks about.
like, I'm not trying. Like, I like you. Am I supposed to not like, am I supposed to not show you that I like you? I don't understand. Like at the beginning, and for me, that's how it became, which is stupid, but it became chasing. But at first, it just started out as me showing shared interest because they would show interest and then I would show interest. And then once I showed interest, they peeled back. And
Oh,
I would
because
think that it's something wrong with me. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I change this up and keep maybe pursuing, then it'll be cool and like they'll show that interest again.
you show that you don't care as much as they. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if I change myself and make myself this way, and that's where it started for me, like becoming somebody that I'm not, because I was taught that who I was not okay. I've always been a very emotional person, and I'm learning now not to be driven by those emotions. But I'm a romantic at heart.
And I'm a hopeless one. I feel you.
Like I can't, I wish I could turn it off, but I can't, and I honestly don't want to because I do like that side of me. I like to love my person. I like to care for my person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I like it. Like I like being a caretaker and a lover and a partner and a friend, and I like being submissive.
Mhm.
I like that to a man who knows how to lead me.
And
And I
that's
realized that in the past I was messing up because I was trying to be submissive to men who didn't know how to lead. And I was
and that,
also being submissive from a superficial standpoint.
of what you were taught.
Yeah, I was being submissive from the world's view of a world. A woman is supposed to do what a man says, which that's not what submission is. Or a woman is just supposed to agree with a man always.
Mm-hmm.
Or a woman is supposed to be everything that a man wants and needs. Baby,
That
I'm
sounds
not your God. I am not meant to be your God
or your mom.
or your mama. I'm none of that. And that's something that I'm realizing. Like we gonna have to make a part two. So we gonna
Oh,
talk about next week. But yeah, we're gonna talk about next week what it means to be what God has revealed to me. What so we've talked about the world. Now let's talk about what it means to be a woman and a man of God. What it means to be a wife according to God's word. What it means to be a husband according to God's word. So
mhm.
that's all we
And
got for this week.
I'm gonna
Um,
add this small part real quick though, and it's
yeah,
just something I learned too. And it's just from the man's perspective, probably just because I'm just thinking about it, but how we are taught love is how we go into relationships acting like. And truth be told, I went into relationships because love was taught to me from a sports perspective, from a coach perspective.
mm,
And that's why I know in a bunch of relationships before, I used to have this mentality of if you ask in my opinion of something, I would say it so bluntly and so harsh or so hard due to the fact of it came from the athlete part of me of this is how my coaches showed love and showed me criticism.
mm,
And that caused me to understand that I was not loving in those moments. And I think one of my friends had taught me too when it came to, and this is why I don't do it as much no more. Like you gotta love your girl. You gotta be able to talk to your girl as a man and also have the affection of when you're talking to a child.
yes.
And I had to learn that, even though I
Not
already had
not to
it
say
in
that
me,
we're children, because that's
not
that's gonna be a whole other
not
conversation
no
too.
no no no, because the way she had explained it to me, she said you love your girl as her boyfriend, but sometimes you gotta have the affection of how you cater to a child, not as hard as I
Yeah.
used to. And it's not calling my girl a child. It's just that she used the example because I was on the phone with her when I was around my niece. And I was like, she was walking around doing stuff. And I was like, being uncle.
Yeah.
I was just caring for her, whenever she did something crazy, I was like, here, come here, girl. Let me pick you up real quick. Support you. Da, da, da. And she was like, that part of you taken to your relationships. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And it was funny because it wasn't that I didn't have it in me. It was just that because love had been shown to me in a coach way. Even in my household, it was in a coach, hard criticism way. And then I learned ahead of time, thankfully, now, no, the affection and the support and everything that's in you, no, use that. Show that. That's you. Now I think I give my girl too much.
No such
Nah,
thing.
there's
So
no such.
we gonna dig more into this next week. We will see y'all then.
Yeah.